We want to welcome everybody into the Opinionated 7-Footers Podcast. And man, I'm your man, Ryan Hollins. That's my dog over there, Brendan Haywood, world champ, 14-year NBA pro. And normally I like to do these long lists of accomplishments and name all this stuff.
Ain't got to do all that today.
We just listen. The greatest quarterback of all time. The greatest cornerback of all time. Maybe we can dance and say the greatest football player, athlete of all time, whatever we want to go to. None other than, man, friend of the show, man. Big congrats, brother. A special thanks, Deion Sanders.
Hey, man, I am honored, man. I'm so excited to get on with the big fellas, man. You know, because closetly, I'm a basketball guy that got caught up in the baseball and football. Closetly, that's who I am. My nickname, Prime, came from hooping.
Stop playing.
Dog, I'm not lying. I dropped 30-something that night, had a couple dunks back to back, and on the bus ride home in the yellow bus, my partner said, hey, man, dog, you prime time. I say, that's right. That's how I came, basketball.
Yo, I would have never thought that. I did not know that your nickname came from. I never knew you hoop. Now, I knew about the baseball and the football. I never knew you hoop.
24.6 before they implemented the threes. Now, see, if they would have had the threes back in my day, that would have took me to about 34.
Hey, hold on, Prime. Let me ask this then, Prime, because I didn't plan on diving into this. If you had to liken your skill set or your game to a player either in today's NBA,
AI.
Hey, Prime.
With a little Jay Crawford. AI with a little Jay Crawford. But I went to the hole like Westbrook.
Oh, come on, Prime.
Yeah.
Prime, you gonna make me go find some footage, Prime. If I find this footage.
I was dunking medicine balls. You know how you got to get up to dunk a medicine ball?
This is facts. Hey, hold on, Dan. Let me ask, hold on. Are you legit 6'1"? Are you more like the 6'1"? Or are you more like 6'2"? Because I know football height.
I'm 6'2", legs slightly, Bo. That's it. Okay. 6'2", legs slightly, Bo. I mean, my high school coach, he had all my basketball letters because he didn't want me to go down that street. I was all state.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was all state.
And I think it's interesting that you say that you got the nickname Primetime, but Primetime took on a life of its own. It was a persona. It was the Jerry curl. It's the chain you got on now. It's the must be the money, all that. Was that always who you were, or did that become developed? Did you have an uncle? Like my cousin, I got all my swag from my cousin Akil growing up. What about you?
I didn't have I take that back. See, my biological father was really Prime, and my stepfather was Deion. He was laid back, low key. My biological father was sort of like that. He was a band director in high school. He was the entertainer part of me. So that's why you got to be careful what you do around your kids, because they're gonna mimic something and they're gonna incorporate something. But all my stuff was premeditated once this agent gave me the rundown on how much professional athletes made. Like in my position, man, we were one of the lowest paid right beside the offensive line. And I created this monster in college. I went to college as Prime, but I brought that thing to light sort of my sophomore year and just created a whole person, a whole image, man. I did that premeditated. That was calculated. All that stuff was pre-calculated, rehearsed.
Let me rewind a little bit, Prime, because I'm gonna ask some questions to Prime Time, and I'm gonna ask Deion some questions today too. I'm gonna ask him both questions, okay? And I know you're gonna explain that. You know it's coming. You played 3 sports: baseball, football, basketball, probably 4. I know you was probably out there running track. I don't know if you skipped that.
I ran once.
Okay. How did that high school career go? Because we normally ask the question of who's the best athlete you've ever seen. Best athlete ever. And you may have one, but I got to dive into your story. And how did that go? Because baseball, the foot, like, was it just, I picked it up, I'm good? What was it?
That's the best athlete I've ever seen is right there. That's me. That's who that is. But high school, man, was fun. I didn't never run track in high school because I was playing baseball. So I didn't run track until I got to college. But man, it was fun. I would leave football and go straight into, we playing Friday night. I would leave. We hooping. I mean, we going at it. Then I would run into baseball season. See, I had played 2 sports on the same day, even in high school. Because we had an all-star baseball game, we had an all-star basketball game on the same night. So I went and put in work in the baseball game. Then I went to the basketball game late on that night and did what I do. So that was my life, man. So when I got to pros and they made a big deal out of it, I couldn't fathom it because that's what I did. Yeah.
And eventually we take you from high school, you end up at FSU. What led you to FSU? Was it a good recruiting class, Bobby Bowden's pitch? You always wanted to go there? How'd you end up there? Because I'm not going to lie, Prom. I was a Miami Hurricanes fan growing up.
They didn't recruit me.
They didn't stop playing. We didn't recruit you?
You missed it. Jimmy Johnson, to tell you the story, they missed me. They didn't recruit me. And I wanted to be far enough from Fort Myers, my hometown, that I couldn't get back quickly, but close enough that mama could come see me get down. And that was 6 hours away from my hometown, but they didn't recruit me. And when I went on a visit to University of Florida, man, we were staying in a darn, the dorms were in the stadium. I wanted to be a football player, but that was taking it too far.
Yeah, that's too much.
And then the dorms was like, you take the little basket, they had community bathrooms, man, and you had to go down the hall and take a community shower. I ain't want to get down like that. And when I went to Florida State, they had this sister, man, in the kitchen, Miss Betty. She ran the cafeteria. She ran it. And our dorms were apartments. It was 2 to a room. We had front room, kitchen, bedroom. I say, this is it. Mm-hmm. And then the defensive back coach said, man, you're going to have a chance to play. I didn't need to say you're going to start. I just wanted the chance. And that's what got me. It wasn't Coach Bowden's sales pitch. It wasn't none of that. It was knowing a sister was going to feed me every day because that was important because my mama cooked, got down before she left it in the little oven. There wasn't no microwave, left it in the oven. And I need to know I have a shot to play, man. And I need my living conditions to be straight.
Hey, Prime, let me throw this to you because my guy Brendan, he always gets on my case whenever there's another world champion on the set. He lets me know I can't speak. He lets me know I can't talk. But Prime, me and you,
he ain't got no rings.
That ain't right. No.
Hey, Prime, he ain't got nothing like this like what we got in Dallas. He ain't got no rings over there, man.
You can't put him on a hush alert because that ain't his fault. It's supposed to be a team.
Yeah, man.
He's part of a team.
Hey, Justin, clip this up and send it to me real quick. Just me with this right here.
Hey, Prime. But like I said, me and you were 2 sport athletes. Brendan Haywood ain't sniffing another sport. And I know even in basketball, when I went into the draft, even though I had only jumped my senior year, I took 3rd in the state and tripled in that jump now. I jumped in college too as a 7-foot high jumper. People don't know that. Some people question, is Brian Hollins serious about basketball? Is he committed? How good is he going to be? I was always a hooper. Track and field was something I did. My dad's and my uncles ran track. I didn't have that DNA. Did anybody question you like, should we recruit him? Was that a difficult process? Because, or how was that?
It was like, what is he going to do? What is he going to choose? And ironically, see, I was a hustler too as a kid. I hustled baseball. I hustled. So
explain that, Prime.
Okay, where the Kansas City Royals had their spring training. There's a lot of spring training sites in Florida. Mm-hmm. So I was a kid, even when I was 7 years old. On my way to school was where the Royals spring trained. So I peeped game. I said, okay, I beat all these little kids running. So they hit a home run ball. I outrun them, get the ball. So now it turned into my hustle. So I went to the game, started at 1 o'clock. I sold the balls for $3.50, $4.50, $5, depending on how the ball looked. Then if I nagged them enough and got them signed an autograph, George Brett, Willie Wilson, Al Craig, Amos Otis, one of those cats, now the ball went up in value. So that was my hustle. And I sat up there by the batting cage, way on the backside, and I helped them pick up their ball, so they would just bless me. So that was my hustle. My hustle turned into reality. The general manager for the Kansas City Royals was Dick Hauser. Dick Hauser was a Florida State alumnus. So lo and behold, I get drafted by the Kansas City Royals out of high school. And that decision was tough because they offered me I think 50 to 75. Now, for a young brother, that's a lot of loot.
Money back then.
7, I was going to retire her. She would never have to work another day in her life. 75 wasn't going to do that. So I bet on Prime, like I always have. And Dick Hauser say, look, man, if we draft you out of high school, we'll draft you again out of college if you improve. I hear you're a pretty good darn football player. Go play football and play baseball there too. They got a good program. And that was some of the best advice I ever got in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best advice I ever got in my life.
And that's swag right there.
Yeah.
And speaking of that swag, you leave FSU, go on, getting ready for the draft. Now I've heard this story before, but I want to put a spin on it. I've heard the story. They're asking you the questions about the Wonderlic, all that stuff. You're like, I'm not going to be there when when y'all draft. I'm not doing all that. What was those guys' reaction to see a young, flashy black man just step in there and just say, listen, I'm not playing by y'all rules. Y'all playing by Prime's rules.
First of all, you understand, to go to the combine, I really didn't have to go to the combine because I was that dude. I was going to be the first DB off the board. But I wanted to go anyway because I wanted to catch the rabbit. That means run my 40 time. Wanted to do that. So before you get to the 40, you know, they got the weightlifting. I remember sitting back just like this, just laid back while the guys was working out. And they like, Sanders, bench. Now, dog, I'm good. And I went on with my conversation, you know, like, I ain't bad. I'm good. Long jump. Now, dog, I'm straight. I ain't got time for all that. So back in that day, everybody was anybody. They let you in the hotel. They let you everywhere. So it was like chaos. Agents trying to get at you. You know, the agents had the girls in there trying to lure you to them. So they
hold out.
Oh yeah, they did. They had all that. And I remember backing up from these agents, from people into this room. And I turned around and they said, yeah, Mr. Sanders, come on, sit down. We want you to take this test. And I seen a lot of brothers stop and their head looked up. And I said, excuse me, what pick y'all got? And he said, like 10 picks. I said, oh, no, dog, I be going by there. That's a true story. True story. And I walked right out of there. Because, why? Why are you testing me?
Hey.
My film just spoke. Why are you testing me? I just ran a 4-2 for breakfast. Why are you testing me for my mental? It wasn't that kind of party for me back then, man. I was too brash.
Hey, Prime, I gotta have you chime in, man. I think one of the lost arts in our culture is storytelling.
Yeah.
And bless my father, you know, he passed away. I had to hear a Deion Sanders story, darn near daily, okay? I'm a 49er fan. We had to hear that daily. Yeah. And my dad tells a story about you going to some draft or something, or some race, and you showed up in street clothes and went 4-2. And my dad he just would tell that story to the day. There's so many Deion Sanders like legends. And the one thing about the legends, sometimes they were spot on, but sometimes the story was just too good. It was too good.
Sometimes it gets inflated and you play into it. But the running stuff was real. Most of the running stuff was 100% accurate, especially at Florida State. We had a pro day. And I had on some spikes, you know, because I ran a little track. But on that pro day, I felt good. I was in shape. I was going to come off the ground that day. And we ran. And when I hit the line, time I hit the 40 line, I said, say it. I just yelled, say it. And because everybody went quiet. Say it, because I know it was off the chain, because I felt it that day. And nobody would say that. Finally, somebody said 4-2-1. If somebody said 4-2-1, that means somebody had a 4-1 something. But nobody would say that. So they said, Mr. Sanders, you can't do that. You got to do that over because you got on spikes and that's not right. I say, who else 10? 10 and a half. Who else 10? Who else 10? Give me a 10. Give me a 10. And it was, I don't even remember the shoes. It might have been Converse or something. Give me a 10. And got down there and hit it again. And said, all right, that's enough. I'm out. That's enough. I'm out. And the slowest time they got was, I think, a 4.23 or 4.25.
That was the slowest?
True story. That's the slowest.
The 4.23 is the slowest time? with somebody else Converse on.
Yeah. I said, say it. True story. All my teammates can validate. I was coming off the ground. I was in great shape at that time. Came off the ground.
Hey, hold on, Prime. Let me follow this up at Florida State. Because you talk about, hey, you were prime, you were coming into it, but some people were still sleeping.
Yeah.
I want you to walk us through that legendary pick that you had in the 1988 Sugar Bowl. Walk me through the play, the pick, I want to hear the moment, man. Take me there.
I got to take you before then because one thing that God has always done, and I'm getting spiritual now, God has always shown me.
Hey, we got time for you to get spiritual. We got time for that.
Come on, man.
God has always shown me things way prematurely than they were expected to come to pass. And I had seen it. I've seen it. It's been several times in my career where I said, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to do it because I've seen it. I said, guys, what's going to happen? It's a press conference. I say, they're going to be driving down, trying to win the game, and they're going to make a wrong move, and they're going to throw the ball, and I'm going to get it. And that's how we're going to end this thing. I say, now that's how and I'll be darned. They coming down, and the guy goes in the slot. I think we was in 2-man with a guy over top, and I'm jamming and then trailing him, sitting up under. And I'll be darned. I knew they was coming to this guy because this guy, I think it was Lawyer Tillman or something, and I had did a skit because he was a big-time receiver, and I'm prime. So I say, I tell y'all what, tell Lawyer this week he going to court, and I'm Perry Mason. And y'all know Perry Mason don't lose, okay? It was a skit I did, walking in the courtroom and tell her ass with a briefcase, I'm Perry Mason and I don't lose. Tell the lawyer he going to court. And I be darned, I undercut the route, picked it off. I'm mad because they tackled me in the end zone because I'm bringing it out. I'm coming out. I'm coming out that thing. And game over. It ended like that.
And I'm glad you started talking about the end zone and the celebrations because I think that's a huge part of that's the culture that you brought to the game. Like, listen, man, I know
I was raised that way.
Man, how did you come up with the primetime Deion Sanders dance? Because I know my boy said I didn't play 2 sports. I played a little bit of football in high school. I wasn't good, but I played a little bit. But all the DBs, man, they were dressed like Deion Sanders. Yeah. And listen, when they got the interception, they were hitting the prime time. They had the hand behind the head. Where did that come from? Like what? How did you pick these moves?
The dance came from Hammer. We was tight, and I was trying to figure out, okay, when I do my thing, what am I going to do? And it was this video he had called Good to Go. You could Google it. Good to Go. He's in a suit, and it was real mellow beat, and they was doing that dance, that shuffle, Good to Go. That's where I got that from. Now, the hand behind the head just came from Hood. That was Hood. See, growing up in I grew up in this place called John Walker's Apartments. And you had apartments and you had the little, like when apartments close, you got a little alleyway.
Yeah.
We used to play, we called it kill the carrier. I think a lot of people call it throw up football. And we had a milk carton. We ain't had no ball. We had a milk carton. You hold a milk carton, that was the ball. And the thing was narrow, so you simulated like it was tight. So when you went through it, you turned sideways and you put the hand behind the head. And all that just was natural. It's not like you say, I'm going to do this in a game. It just happened. It just something happened that caught on. Then once it caught on, you continued to do so. But all that stuff is just hood stuff, man. Just a way to entertain. That's it.
Hey, Deion, if you could imagine a 7-footer in his flag football game, if I have a breakaway, I'm hitting that thing. I'm hitting that thing. Okay.
Hey, Ron, I done seen you dance before. I hope you did not hit that thing. I'm telling you that right. I done seen you now. That ain't your finest hour. That ain't your finest hour.
Hey, Prime. I know we touched on it earlier. Let's get back to Atlanta. Let's get to the draft. Talk to me about those first years in the league. Also, baseball was going on at the same time. You said you were also prepared. 2 sports in the same day wasn't an issue for you, but 2 sports at the professional level is a lot different. Talk to me about how you made that happen.
It wasn't, and I'm thankful for both. If it wasn't no goal, it wouldn't have been the prime because he made it fashionable. But even getting to Atlanta, I was an All-American in college. Therefore, we had this All-American team. I forgot which one. Might have been Kodak or whatever. But they invited us to Atlanta for the function. So all the guys from around the country who were All-Americans, you got together. I got off that plane, dog. I saw these brothers and sisters. I ain't never seen that before in my life. So now we going to the hospital to do our good deeds. Man, I saw black doctors and black folks in the hospital. I said, wow. So we riding around downtown and I'm seeing everybody black, everybody chocolate downtown. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, black policeman. And I'm like, wow, blew my mind. I had never seen prominent black folks at that capacity in my life. So I made up my mind on that visit. I'm going to Atlanta. I'm going to Atlanta. So I told, first pick was Dallas. I knew Troy Aikman was going because they wanted a quarterback. I was happy with that. The second pick was Green Bay. I said, I'm not doing that. So don't even think about it. The third pick was Detroit. Too cold.
Hold on, you're talking to professional teams.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't draft me. Fourth pick was Kansas City. Don't draft me. I had baseball as the leverage. If you draft me, I'm playing baseball. You're gonna waste the pick. Don't draft me. Atlanta, fifth pick. So when I'm sitting there on draft day, I know what's about to go down because I had told all don't draft me because I wanted to go to Atlanta because I'm young and ignorant and flashy and flamboyant, but the brothers would understand me. And that was it. That's what I needed. And they understood me. That's how I got to Atlanta. And then I think I was released. I was about to sign a long-term deal with the Yankees. And the late George Steinbrenner got in some junk. And he got in some junk. You can check the dates. And if he hadn't, I would have been a full-time baseball player, never to play football again, if he hadn't gotten into that junk. But he did, which they really took the contract back that they offered me. I was going to be one of the highest paid baseball players in the game at a young age. And that released me, and the Braves picked me up. And that's how I got to play two sports in Atlanta. I don't think nobody even knows that story. That's how I got to play two sports in Atlanta. And I loved it. I loved it for the time. But being in the spotlight in the same city, that wasn't an easy thing for all year. Basketball season, cool, but basketball and football season, or football and baseball, that's a lot. That's
hey, man, you had a lot of winning in there too. Now, both those teams, especially those Braves teams, they
won. The Falcons didn't win.
What?
We didn't win with the Falcons, but the Braves won. We had fun with the Falcons, but we didn't win.
But speaking of winning with the Braves, and I remember this vividly, kind of because I went through a similar situation, not on your level, but similar. The situation with you and Tim McCarver.
Yeah.
And Tim's talking that junk, and you get to throw some water on him when y'all win in the celebration. In D.C., there was a local reporter. I'll never forget his name to this day. His name is Tom Knott. And he would religiously call me Brenda in every article. Like, you threw water at Tim McCarver. I'd have thrown like a whole 6-pack of soda at Tom Knott if I had a chance to, man. But like, walk me through that experience when you're sitting right there and you're like, you know what, man, this guy done talked all this junk, done talked about me like I'm a dog. I'm going to get my moment. Prime, I never got my moment. You got yours, but I never got my moment. If not see me to this day, he better turn around and run the other way.
See, I would have been cool had my mama got involved. If my mama had not got involved, I would have let it just brush off me. Because at that time, my contract went through July, and I'm done with baseball. Now I come to be a football player because I'm a full-time football player, part-time baseball player. So my contract is over in July, but I still opted to come over and help the Braves because we on to something. Right. I'm going to come over and help y'all. So that's how I'm playing two sports at the same time because now I'm going down 85. They got a helicopter to pick me up. Not the Braves. Somebody in the community say, you know what? Let's just put this cat in the helicopter because
somebody just let you use their helicopter?
To this day, I don't know how that happened. To this day, I don't know how it happened.
No, that's incredible.
To this day. So now, I remember Brett Favre telling the story. I just practiced with him. Now I see him on TBS playing baseball. Just got out of practice. So I'm flying back and forth, and I'm helping my guys, getting in there, pinch hitting late, pinch running, doing everything. So now I got real, and here go the playoffs. And the general manager had never told a manager about the stipulations of my contract. I'm over here helping y'all, man. If anybody mad, it should be the Falcons because I'm double timing them. Yep. So this cat is sitting on here talking about me like a dog when in all actuality, I should have been applauded. I'm helping y'all.
Yeah.
Contract says football only. Never told the manager that. But I know the general manager fed Tim McCarver that mess. But Tim McCarver didn't do his homework. to understand this is a good thing. And my mama said, I was riding home, she said, baby, whoever that reporter is, he talking about you like a dog. He don't like you. He saying this made me mad. I had to turn the TV off. Well, mama tell you that.
Can't make mama mad.
Oh, when mama tell you that, it's time to do things. So I'm sitting up there thinking, all right, I'm gonna handle this. And I'll be darned. Now, I'm not even playing. I'm not in the game. I'm not doing nothing. I don't know why he's saying I'm selfish. I'm not even playing. They ain't even thinking about letting me get in the game. Matter of fact, when I went to play the game, now football-wise, we get ready to play against the Miami Dolphins and Dan Marino, Duke Clayton, Nat Moore. How am I supposed to let my secondary go out there without me, you playing against? You know, that's just like playing against Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan. Like, come on. You got to show up.
Yeah.
You may not win, but you got to show up. So I showed up because I know on the baseball side, you're not going to even let me play. I ain't played yet. I pinch hit late, run late, but you ain't let me start. So I'm going to miss a whole football game, and I'm sitting on the bench. How I'm going to explain that to my football teammates? Exactly. And the guy just ripping me up, man. Only reason I started, guys, in the World Series, because my dear friend David Cone. See, baseball is very analytical. It's all about numbers. I was hitting, I think, 600 lifetime of David Cone. So when you look at the numbers, like, I can't sit him on the bench, even though I don't like him. I can't justify it. Oh. And they let me play. And when they let me play, oh Lord, you should have never let me play. You should have never let me get in there. And I did what I do. I lived up to the nickname and I balled out. And I wish to God we would have won and I'd have got the MVP because, boy, I would have showed my natural black butt. That's probably why we didn't win. God knew what I was going to do. And that's how it went down, my man. I was mad and they played me. They really played me to the left. They really did. It was very unfortunate.
Hey, Prime, let me touch on that because I was in a situation early in my career. We didn't do a lot of winning in Charlotte, okay? And when I got a chance to go to Dallas, I was like, oh my God, like this is welcome to the NBA.
Right.
You talked about, even though the situation was kind of funny with baseball, you guys won. The culture, the energy, the fans. Now, football was fun, but y'all didn't win. Was that part of the psychology of you coming to my 49ers now? Did that play a role in like, I have to win, like being good is enough, I've got to win. Was that a part of it?
I got to win. And if I want to be who I desire to be, because to the Falcons' credit, they knew what they had. Like, they didn't sign me as a free agent. They allowed me to be a free agent because they knew my dream and my goals exceeded who they were. And I thank them for that. They knew, like, hey, man, he owns something else. Like, he is a whole nother cat. We ain't never had this. Instead of us handcuffing him, man, we just got to let him soar. And they allowed me to be a free agent, and that's how I got to San Francisco. Because they allowed me, they knew they weren't going to win, and they were very fond of me, and we had a great relationship, so they let me fly, which was great. That's how I got to San Fran. But San Fran, we did the doggone thing, won. They should have held on. But it was so much little egos and animosity that they let me fly too. That's how I got to Dallas.
Sorry, B. Let me spin this because that's rare. NBA I played in, NBA Brendan played, like professional sport, that doesn't happen.
It happened with us.
LeBron had to have the decision. Jalen Ramsey had his holdout. We remember the Jimmy Butler saga. Like, athletes now are starting to realize now we got to speak up, but you had an organization push you. They almost told you, like, man, go ahead, go in.
Do your thing. Yeah, do your thing, because we're not there. We're not there, and you're a good guy. You've been great to us. Do your thing, because we don't want to hold you back. And they did it, and the Falcons let me fly. And it was the best thing happened to me because now the career is validated. You know, And you know, once you win, the career is validated. It's like a check. It's like a Twitter. When you get the check, or Instagram, you get the check. Right. It's validated. It's verified.
But did that matter to you though? Like I just watched I was watching a podcast with Ocho Cinco on it, and he said, man, he said, listen, I know I'm a Hall of Fame in my mind. I don't need these people's validation. Did the Hall of Fame and winning and all that validation matter to you?
He lying. It never mattered to me. He's a receiver. You know darn well it mattered to them. They the divas of our game. They the divas of our league. Any bull jump ever happen on any team, it comes from where? At the receiver position. That's who they are. Yeah. That matters to them. To me, I ain't need no jacket to tell me I'm that dude. I knew darn well from day one I was that dude. So I've never been one caught up in I need your votes, I need your validation, I need this jacket to tell me who I am. I told you who I was. You just caught on to it 2 or 3 years later than when I even proclaimed it. That's why you had a little funk with the media. Because the media don't like you telling them who you are. They like to make you, then they have the power to break you. No, you didn't invent me, so you can't prevent me. So I told you who I was, and that's just real tough. Now, receivers, they need it.
Interesting that you brought that up because we're going to get back to your career, but I think we can tie that into what's going on today. Do you see a lot of that going on with Cam Newton? It's like they want to break Cam Newton down like he's not great anymore. You just talked about how the media builds you up only to bring you down. And they don't like Cam talking about Superman because they think that's too brash. That's not quarterback-ish.
Cam had a lot to do with that, man. Cam, I'm not going to say they. Mm-hmm. Cam was injured. The skepticism of the injury, whether the injury happened on the field or it happened on your scooter, okay? Where did it happen at? Are you a team guy or are you a me guy? And a lot of teammates wasn't riding with Cam, a lot of them were. So the reason they had to get Cam out of there, you got a new owner, you got a new head coach, you're trying to do a new thing. You can't do a new thing with something old. The same reason they got Steve Smith out of there for Cam, because it was Steve Smith's team. So to let Cam have his moment, you got to get that grown dog out that locker room so Cam could be who he is. So now to revamp this team, to get the right attitude and the focus, you got to get Cam out that locker room so the team could be who they are. That's their thought process. Whether that's right or wrong, nah. I think Cam is still that dog. But I think Cam lost a little focus. That's why Cam he owns something right now. Hey, yes, sir. Show y'all. And he needed that, man. He needed that. Everybody need that kick, man. Everybody need that second gear in life. We need that. We all have been through something like that where we had to reboot.
Hey, Prime, I got to throw this to you, man. And I thought, what's funny? Like, there's a different culture back then. If this happened in today's culture, it'd be a million questions about everything else. Mm-hmm. When you and Andre Rison had beef and y'all it's one of the storied moments in sports. Like, I could watch that 1,000 times, and you, as we talk about Cam, as we talk about media, you have built up so much equity, it was just gold. Andre did something wrong. What was that like from a competitive standpoint to proving a message? It just, your energy, I don't know what it is about that moment. It's amazing. Take me behind the scenes of you and Andre Rison, and like back then, when dudes fought, you get into it, it's over. Now you fought, he whooped you, it's over. That's how things used to be. I miss them days, but talk to me about it.
It's a different day now. Now, back then, you got to understand, Andre was like my little brother. Mm-hmm. He was my dog. He was my homie. He was my partner. If I had on a mink, he had on a fox coat. If I had on fox, he had on a mink. That's how we got down. We went at it in practice, but we got each other better. And we had a bond like no other. So when one brother leaves another brother in the dark, that hurts. Mm-hmm. And I should have been better to say, hey, man, I'm getting ready to get up out of here and go do this thing. And I didn't. And it hurt him. I just thought he knew, because you got to understand, I'm a two-sport guy, so I don't really spend time with the football guys in off season because I'm playing baseball. Right. So I don't really spend time like that. So when you see me, you see me. But that was my brother. I should have called him and say, man, I'm out. And that hurt him. So now they interviewing them, getting ready to play me, and a couple of cats say, yeah, man, Prime was selfish. What? all I've done for all y'all, and y'all go, okay, all right, okay, now it's business. We're going to make it business. And I always study. I study like no other. And I got film right now from 89. I mean, I could show you everything. I could give you every intricate detail of every receiver and the tip that they gave me, the offense, everything. I studied so much. Mike Haynes played receiver for us, and he had went down to play for the Saints. Mm-hmm. I knew the offense like the back of my hand, Atlanta's offense. I called Mike. I said, okay, Mike, if they do this, what happens? He said, well, this is what they do. I said, well, if I do this, this is what they do. I said, cool. I got it. So now the game going on, and me and Andre getting down, because I'm staying on one side, and I'm with Andre. So I said, you know what? 1st and 10, we back off. If I back off, they're going to throw a 5-yard hitch. I backed off, they threw a 5-yard hitch. I said, oh, I got him. Yeah. Knew everything. So now they driving down the field, and they got like a tight split to the Falcon side, and I'm 1 foot back. When I'm 1 foot back, I'm making the receiver think, am I going to rush him? Am I going to ease out? I want him thinking, because the game is played where the DB's thinking. I changed the game where I got you thinking. You don't know what I'm going to do instead of me worrying about you. So I come back square, and Dre rushed me, and I grabbed him, and now I see, oh, so you getting a little physical. Okay. So that's how the fight started. And that's how the fight started. And after we fought, like, all right, let's get down. Let's go. Let's go. And I get 15 yards, he didn't. But the irony of the whole thing, we ain't get thrown out of the game. How in the world we ain't get thrown out of the game?
Hey, man, that's that old school. That's that old school.
So they driving down. They got trips to my side. I said, all right, they finna flood it. Whistle blows, legal procedure. They go back in trips again. They running the same flood. I said, are they crazy? So I squared up, stayed right there. I knew a rock coming. Another procedure call. Now the ball moves back. They line up in the same darn formation. I said, no, they ain't this stupid. So this time I put my back to the sideline like I'm going to bail, okay? Outside guy runs a dig, inside guy runs a hook, flat guy comes to the flat. It's like a little flood. And I just bailed, so the quarterback really ain't see me, and he threw it. I said, no, this fool didn't. No, on the same drive, got it, gone. I had told him. I told you God showed me things. I told the late Dwight Clark and Carmen Policy, the GM, on the plane, on the way there. I said, you know what, fellas? I'm going to pick a ball off tomorrow. It's going to be on their sideline. I'm going to high step them fool, and I'm going to look at all of them when I'm going by on their sideline. And everybody bust out laughing. I was dead serious. God had showed it to me. And I got it, hit the dance, paused at the end for the cameras. But you know what, man? After that, both of us felt so bad that we fought, because that's my dog. Even to this day, when we see each other, we'll tear up, because that's my dog. Like, I can't believe we let it get like that. But it was all because of two brothers missing one another. And it was like two foster kids going to separate homes, man. That's the analogy I can give to explain that. If
you had any advice for Russell Westbrook and KD, and I know KD's kind of been through his deals, what would you give? And I knowing you, Prime, you low-key probably reached out already. So talk to me.
They got to sit down and get to the root of it. The fruit is what you see, what you hear. Let's get to the root of it. Why do you feel like that? Or what's troubling you about me? Because you know deep down I love you. I have no animosity. And I think it's the same thing. Two brothers that came up together, want to do it together, and one dipped. And the other one didn't know how to handle it, because they thought, you my brother, you should at least told me. We should at least conversate about it. I feel like they dealt with the same thing we dealt with, but they're both so large and they both are so successful that nobody will humble themselves and sit down. Somebody got to be the big brother.
Yeah, definitely. All the time, man.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about obviously guarding Andre Rison. He was one of the best.
Yes.
But who was the best? Somebody, now, I'm not gonna say anybody gave you fits, but who was somebody like, man, I gotta bring it tonight because this dude is big time?
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice?
The reason why is because if you can't score from anywhere, it's a lot like basketball. If you can't score from anywhere, you ain't no problem with me. First of all, if I'm lining up in front of you let's forget that back there. You ain't going deep.
He ain't going behind you. He can't get back there.
Let's forget that. That's not going to happen. This 4-2 for breakfast. This not going to happen. So let's get that away. Okay, now if you mess around and throw it out and it's a second too late, you're going to have to see me dance. That's number 2. Okay, that's the thought process. But Jerry Rice could score from anywhere on the field. He wasn't soft. He was a dog, and that ball was coming to him at least 10 times. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of guys you jump on, all right, they're gonna stay away from you. But you guard Mike Irvin, that ball's coming to Mike 10 times. That's their game plan. You know, Shannon Sharp, dog. I'm sorry, Sterling Sharp. Pardon me, Sterling Sharp. Dog.
I'm about to say, Deion, you slid over that tight end position.
Hey, he said, all them sharp boys are some dogs.
I ain't going inside the numbers. I stayed outside of my house. I ain't going inside. There's too much going on there. But we had some dogs. But see, the difference between then and now, they have dogs now, but that dog didn't have his cat. What I mean by that is we had dogs, but that dog had a cat named Steve Young throwing to him and Joe Montana. We had a dog, but that dog had a cat named Troy Aikman throwing to him. We had a dog, but that dog was that cat was John Elway. So the receivers then had a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now it's either one or the other. You see a great receiver, quarterback, all right.
Right.
Rarely do you see a Tom Brady with a Randy Moss.
Right. We saw what that looked like.
Yeah, that ain't nothing to play with. And then back then, Batman had a Robin. Jerry Rice had a John Taylor, man.
Yes. Yeah.
you know, these boys had some grown men. James Lofton, man, they had 3 dudes in Buffalo at the time.
Yep. Andre Reed, all those guys.
Yeah,
yep.
Andre Reed had a Lofton, man. Shoot, Dan Marino, Nat Moore, Clay Duper, man. It was 3 dudes that could get you, to give you work. Different game.
Hey, Prime, let's switch gears. We touched on it a little bit. You go to the Super Bowl in Dallas. We talk about like cheat code, like, whoa, San Francisco, whoa, they don't. How sweet was that? Because I don't even want to talk about my team messing up, man. I don't even want to talk about it, but they dropped the ball and you go back to back on them boys.
They dropped the ball. And they thought they had me cornered because I was playing baseball for the Giants at the time. Mm-hmm. The Reds had traded me to the Giants. So I'm like, I ain't getting ready to play no 2 sports again in the same city. I ain't like the way that ended. I'm not doing that again. So I'm sitting up in a hotel room because I stayed in the hotel when I got traded there, you know. And I'm sitting in the room and the guy come on TV. He said, if you out there, you're going to be a Dallas Cowboy. That's how Jerry Jones spoke prophetically through that TV, and I was watching. So I called my attorney, Eugene Parker, late Eugene Parker. I said, man, what's up? He said, man, the Raiders are offering the most money, but I think the players in Dallas. I said, well, I ain't never doubted you yet. Ain't no reason to doubt you now. It's all good. That's how I got to Dallas because I want to whoop San Fran.
Right.
Because of how they got down. And the sad thing about it, we played them that next year and they beat the brakes off us. They beat the brakes off us. They put Jerry in the slot because I never go in the slot. They put Jerry in the slot and ran crossing routes and ate us alive. I mean, they beat us, but then Green Bay beat them in the championship. And then we had the playoffs. And then we beat Green Bay. That's how we got back to the Super Bowl. So back to back was a beautiful thing.
And you kind of mentioned this before we want to jump back into it. You said in San Francisco, they kind of let you go because there were some egos clashing. What was that about?
You know, if it's a ball involved and the money involved, it's going to be egos involved.
Right.
And people have that on different teams. And to think that they would have been smart enough to say, well, if Prime get paid, everybody else get paid. Instead of, hey, man, I don't want this cat to get paid. They didn't think business. And I was there to try to help them do business, and they didn't understand business. And they felt like I got too much of the credit once we came over there and we won. Same year, you get defensive MVP, you win a Super Bowl, you balled, and you changed the whole game. Now we got 3, Merton Hanks, Tim McDonald, and myself went to the Pro Bowl. You know, you got 3 guys out of the 4. Then the next year, Eric Davis goes to the Pro Bowl. So now you renewed that whole secondary that nobody heard of nobody. And now it's a big deal. But guys got a little sensitive, got a little selfish, and didn't understand the game, and didn't understand it whatsoever. The game, not just on the field, but off the field. Business.
That off the field game is big time now. Right. But that's just as important as the game on the field.
But how many guys really understand the game?
When they get older.
There you go.
Deion, take me through we all know how important culture is.
Yeah.
The Dallas culture. What was that like? What was Troy like? What was Michael like? What was Emmett like in the locker room? Because everything ain't no cakewalk. There ain't no easy championships. I don't care how talented you are.
Like college, man. Like San Francisco, Atlanta was like, man, please. These my brothers. We coming up, baby. It's like high school. We having a good time. We ain't winning, but boy, we having a good time. We gonna learn how to win, but we just don't have the pieces. You go to San Fran, it's like you clocking in, like the old clock in card.
Yeah.
No fun, but we putting in some work. So now I'm saying, hey, fellas, hey, man, I don't get down like this. Hey, DB, Friday night, man, we going out. We going to the club. I got a limo going to be here. You call the club, ask for this guy. He going to have a VIP set up. We straight. We got to get to know each other. We got to be a family, man. We got to know each other on and off the field. So that's how we got down. I brought that into San Fran. In the secondary, we was cool, but the rest of the team, they clocking in. They didn't know how to have fun. I remember the night before we played against Dallas. I was like, fellas, look here, man. Hey, let's have fun, man. Let's have fun. I say, Steve, man, quit worrying about that Joe Montana bull junk and be who you are. Jerry, you do what you do. Let's have some fun because we're going to whoop these boys tomorrow. When I didn't spank them. But it was a phobia. When they got ready to play the Cowboys, oh, my God, it was like a fear because the Cowboys had whooped them the previous few years. It was a fear, and we got past that. But then it was like work. Nobody had a good time. But then when I got to Dallas, man, that was like college, dog. Everybody having a good time. Everybody confident in themselves and who they are. Everybody got it going on. They had won, 3 Super Bowls, At the time, they would have won 4, but I stopped that. so it was 2. They won 2 at the time. They would have won 3 in a row. But it was fun, man. It was unbelievable. Troy was a worker. Mike had a good time, but he worked his butt off. Everybody had a good time, but they worked. And that was probably the best offensive line that'll ever be assembled in the history of football. You had 5 Pro Bowlers on the offensive line. That's unheard of.
And the one thing that I say, I like to tie things from back in the day into what I see today. They really got to a point in your career, they stopped throwing that ball over there, Prime. They knew, like, listen, man, we keep messing with Prime, it's something different. A lot of guys don't play man-to-man coverage now. We have somebody that's like, how do you judge where these guys fit in the hierarchy of the game of cornerbacks? Like, Richard Sherman is a dog. I respect this game so much, but it's just totally different than what you and Darryl Green had to do. So where does he fit in the hierarchy? Because guys in today's game, they play a different brand of football.
But you can't criticize them. It's the same with basketball.
Right.
See, I love basketball. And I know the game, and I see the game, and I see who's setting picks. I see who coming off, and I see who playing on defense. I see who taking a break on the other end of the court. And it's a different game than it was back then. It's a whole different game. Some of these cats are stars right now. Wouldn't have been a star back then. And I'm telling you, I know that because I love the game of basketball, man. It's the same with football. Some of these guys are great, but I can't criticize them for taking advantage of today's time in today's era. And it's tough because also I said we played against a Hall of Fame guy and the quarterback was a dog. Then he had the guy on the other side that was a dog, so it was hard to defend that. Nowadays, it's one dog. You just double him. Then you whoop him the other side, and it's over. And it's a lot of scheme now. It's not a lot of man. So back then, when you sold me a game, Jordan versus somebody, I wanted to see, don't sell me KD versus LeBron and they ain't guarding each other. Don't play with me like that. Don't play with my emotions. I don't get that off my TV. No, just say KD is going to guard LeBron, but LeBron ain't going to guard KD or vice versa. Tell me something that's real. It's a little different nowadays. It's a little different. But I can't take away from a guy like Sherman who's been balling for quite a period of time. Maybe his game didn't quite like mine was, but man, the boy can ball. And
yes, sir. No question.
I love it.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, since we own it, I'm gonna ask it. I'm gonna ask it, Prime. I gotta ask it. The receivers that we see nowadays, even just this generation, Randy, Calvin, Julio, T.O., these boys are different. They're big and they can run. A couple of them got footwork. You know, Jerry was footwork. He was the hard worker, like you said. He had a quarterback. He had a cat. He was the dog. He had the cat. All right. How would you guard these guys? How would you guard a 6'5", 4'3" Calvin? What's the game plan?
We had guys like that too. They just wasn't as notable. So the thing that I told you earlier, that you ain't running by me, so you got to run a route. So Jerry ran routes. Like, our guys was route specialists. Like, right now, you're probably saying, okay, it's a few guys out there that run routes. But Mike Irvin was going to run that comeback like no other and get physical and push you off. Chris Carter handled everything between these numbers like no other. It's a different game, but it's the same. Only thing that's changed is the names.
Right.
That's all. So it wouldn't be the fact that how I deal with them is how they was going to deal with me. That's the thing. How you going to deal with me? I ain't never worried about what you got, and you got to worry about what I got, because if I get the ball, and this ain't right, and I tell people this, and it's a joke kind of. How is it that I play defensive back, but every picture you see, I got the ball?
Hey, some people know how to pose for that camera. They know when it's their time.
I have the ball every time you see. That is because I took the ball.
Yes, sir.
When you see Ed Reed, don't he have the ball during every time you see a picture of, because he was that kind of dude. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Ed Reed, man, I don't want to skip over the Redskins season, but listen, I heard the story. But I need to hear from you about you, Ray Lewis, a couple other cats. You guys are out. You're 4 years, if I'm not 3 or 4 years out the game, correct?
3 years, yeah.
And you decide to come back and play. Not just playing with the Ravens, competing for a title. Like, how did that come about? What made you come back? And listen, in 30-some years old, a guy like you
he was 37. He was 37 because I remember he wore 37 because he was 37 years. I was in DC at that time, Prime. I was in there. I was close. I was up the street. I was watching.
I think I went to a few basketball games then too. I was at the crib chilling, coaching my son's little pee-wee football team, and Ray and Corey Fuller. Corey Fuller like my little brother. He said, "Hey man, DB went down. We need it on the corner, man. What you want to do?" I said, "Man, what's wrong? I ain't played 3 years, man. Please." I say, "I'm not getting up. Jesus on the third shift. I'm good. I'm straight, man. I'm living a wonderful life." They said, "No, man, think about it. And when you plant that seed," and I'm thinking about, okay, I didn't like the way it ended in Washington, because I tell you what, Dan Snyder was so cool and so good to me. He knew I wasn't going to play for Marty Schottenheimer. And I was playing baseball for the AAA affiliate, Syracuse Sky Chief, AAA affiliate of Toronto Blue Jays, getting back into baseball. And he came, he said, "Hey man, I'm going to fly down to see you. You're not going to want to play for this dude. I think I made a mistake." He didn't say I think. He said, "I made a mistake." He made a mistake in the hiring. And he said, "I'm going to square you off." I said, "Cool. Good." He blessed me, broke me off what he owed me. I got on the bus the next day. I had a little tour bus. I got on the bus and went home, drove home, retired. That's how it ended. And it's not like I wanted to end it like that, but that's how it ended. And I always thought in the back of my mind, man, I never put the exclamation mark or the period on the end of the sentence. And you know how we are, man. We always want to have closure. You know, most men want closure. Right. No question. Women want it, for sure. And that's how it happened. They stirred it up in me, and I said, me going back out here and kicking with my boys, man, have a good time. And that's what I did. And I went back there and played with my guys and had a good time. I was like the big brother in the locker room. And on Tuesdays, man, I would meet with people's families and make sure that all the youngsters, I call them my kids, all the youngsters are straight in the locker room. So I was like the big brother in the locker room that could pull Ray aside. "Come on, man. You got to get to know all these guys. You can't just kick it with the popular guys. Right. You see that guy over there that'll never get in the game, he on the scout team? He need to know you, man. You need to know him. You see that guy that's cooking the eggs in the kitchen? You need to learn his name. Okay, his name is Manny. He's a good dude, okay? You need to understand him. So it was that kind of stuff going on, and I loved it, 100%.
And obviously now you're retired. I see you giving back all the time, follow you on social media. I see what you're doing with some of these young athletes. And there was a certain guy that you were mentoring. He's not really young, but he had kind of lost his way, A.B. Antonio Brown. And you told an interesting story. And so I got a two-part question. First of all, you told a story about trying to live up to prime time and where that took you mentally. Mm-hmm. So what stressed you out about trying to live up to that? And what did you see in Antonio Brown that made you say, I need to tell this young man this story so he don't make my mistakes?
What I meant by trying to live up to it is that I created such a character, such a imaginary guy that people wanted him and didn't want me. Mm-hmm. And that's tough because I never got off on the cold hand claps of fans because they never really knew my middle name. So you don't even know me. You don't love me. You just love what I do. And when I cease to do what I did, your love will cease as well. So this ain't real love because it's not being reciprocated. So you don't love me. But they always thought I was this guy and I had to put on to be that guy because that's what they was paying for. So this guy gets lost in the crossfire. Now he's humble, but he's sad because he's lonely because nobody wants this guy. Nobody want to know the guy that goes fishing every day. Nobody want to kick it with the guy that is real low key and soft spoken and willing to feed the homeless and help people and looking for that guy to give a hand up, not just a hand out. Nobody want that guy. They want that, hey man, what's going on, baby? I'm proud. They want that guy. And you could get lonely and lost like that, especially amongst your friends when they don't even know you because you're always putting on. And I was trying to let AB know I got lost in that as well. So I knew when you took that left, when you should have stayed right. And I called you and told you, but I'm in long distance and I couldn't get to you to usher you through this because the thing about it, you still got to perform.
Right.
You could be lost and confused, and you've seen that in y'all locker rooms. Y'all ain't got but 12, 15 cats and half of them lost. You know that. So to see that and to see it's taking place right in front of you, and you know how this movie gonna end. It's gonna end in the train wreck. You know, I'm happy I got in here on property, and we just had a good old-fashioned, he called me Pop, man, like father to son time. And we always have those type of conversations. We just allowed everyone to see this conversation.
I'm glad you did, though. I'm really glad you did.
But he's a good kid that just got lost in the AB. Yeah, Chad got lost in Ocho Cinco. When Chad was Chad, when it became Ocho, he had to put on.
Right.
He had to put on.
And you know, like, you know, Deion, in the media, when I step onto a First Take or whatever platform, I've done my research on Antonio. His teammates love him. Yeah. Now, he did some things where I can't have your back, dog, like you bugging. But I went to bat because it's like, why am I hearing the same things about everybody reaching out? So when you did that, man, personally, I was like, man, thank you, because it was so far, everybody was throwing him under the bus. So just period, thank you for that, man. I mean, just for our community, we don't take care of us.
Not at all.
Hey, so, but Prime, I want to talk about Deion now. And I want to start with Deion, but we got going. We got rolling. I look at what we miss Kobe Bryant so much. Mm-hmm. And the thing we miss about him we found out is the father he was. One of the greatest players who ever played a game was mentoring the guys currently in the game. Our greats don't always do that. You do that. Your prime time is the best father. Deion is the best father he can be. The way you committed to the football field. Talk to me about that mentorship and how you give back and why, and your son, because as a former athlete, we need to see that. That transition is not always smooth. In fact, most likely it's not.
We often give out of a place of emptiness. That's what we do. So if I haven't felt love growing up, I give love. if you haven't heard love, I love you, I love you, I love you growing up, you shower your kids in that because that place had you empty and you don't want to duplicate what transpired in your life. So understanding what I've gone through, I can't help but be who I am. And as a father, my stepfather was a good man. He was there since I was 7 years old. But we didn't exchange some pleasantries because out of respect to my biological father, my stepdad, he drank alcohol, was a home drunk, but he was a good drunk. He wasn't abusive. None of that. My biological father, who's the primetime side of me, he was flashy, flamboyant, and he was a drug addict. So I've never drank, never smoked, never been high there in my life because I saw what they did, but I didn't want to emulate that. So I give from my life thereof growing up. And I enjoy life, man. I had to ask my mama recently because, all this stuff is going on in our country with the racism and the equality and the thirst and the hunger for that I don't get angry at nothing because I'm more cerebral. I'm a thought person, and I'm going to think how to figure this out so we can make it a better place. I'm not going to be angry and hostile because ain't nothing that ever's done affected out of anger. So I said, Mom, tell me this. When you and my pop hooked up, man, how was it? Was he just there? Y'all was just doing something? What? She said, no, I loved him. He loved me. We cool. I said, so I know y'all were married at the time, you was 20, but it's love. She said, yeah. I said, okay, I get me now because I was birthed in love. So everything I heard was of love. It wasn't animosity. It wasn't ignorance. So I was brought up in love. And a lot of people right now are brought up in anger because mom and pops wasn't really like that. So they heard a lot of anger and they internalized that. And that's who they are today. And I can't get down like that. I'm not built like that. I'd rather love on you and help you and hug you and pick you up and dust you off than, hey man, that cat ain't no good. That's what you exuded to Antonio because something you seen in him and something in you is to give love first unless they show you they ain't no good. Because how about y'all? If they show you and you know for a fact they ain't no good, then you'll take your shot because you validated that. But if you hadn't validated the story, like, no, man, I done my homework. That's a good cat. And that's what I rather ride in love, man. I really do. But that's how I was birthed.
And we're talking about your second act now, you being retired and everything that you're giving back. But from a business side of things, I see you coaching those young boys up there. They listening to you. You got them flying around the field. Could we see prime time on the sideline for like a major university?
Yeah, next 2021.
2021?
Yeah.
You gonna give us the scoop where you going?
No, I don't quite know, but I do know. But I'm gonna coach in 2021.
Major college football.
I was that close in 2020, but I'm glad God kept it from me because I wouldn't want to coach right now. Because you wouldn't have a chance to really work. I'd have been on the college sideline, not being familiar with my kids, not being able to develop my kids, not being able to get out and recruit my new kids that's coming in this next year, that's only talking to them on Zoom, and I can't see who you are on Zoom. I need to get out there and see you. So it's going to be tough, and God knew that. So I'm glad he kept me from it because I was that close to 2 major college jobs last year. Really close, and I love it. That's what I'm gonna do. My little man is gonna be at the house. I gotta
do something.
Prime, let's talk about him. Shadur, he made the choice that I didn't make.
Yeah.
My coach, Lorenzo Romar, was at St. Louis. Mm-hmm. He left St. Louis, and Romar's he's like a father figure to me. I got a good pops, but he was that's how he cared for me. He left to Washington. I was supposed to go to Washington with him. I ended up going to UCLA because I wanted to be a pro. They ended up being good. We were bad, and then I had to fix it all at the end. Your son made the loyalty pick. He made that choice. And hold on, Prime. Don't skim. I want to hear that relationship because I see a lot of you in him. He's a great kid. He's a quarterback. It's a different position, but let's talk about it. He got the chains but he's a good kid, man.
You're good because out of all my sons, he is me more than any of them. The reason he is that because he spent more time with me than any of them. He's always been there. He's always been up under me. From day one, I've coached him and Shiloh, all their games. Even my oldest one, Bucky, I've coached him as well. But he is always, so he He hears me, he sees me, he see me get up and work in the morning, work out, train. He see me pushing the lawnmowers. He's always seen me work. So he's inherited those attributes. And he's a different cat. Shadur is the kind of kid that says, hey man, Dad, if I go to Alabama and we win, Alabama was gonna win anyway. If I go to Georgia and we win, they was gonna do that anyway. But if I go and take that water and turn it to wine, now I'm doing something. That's the way he thinks. He's like, Dad, I want to play my first year. I'm ready. I'm not trying to go red shirt. I'm not trying to sit behind nobody. I want an opportunity to earn a starting job. Cool. So now we on Zoom calls. We talking to these colleges, and they got to understand that when you grow up and your dad is your coach and your dad is putting you on game, you can't run game. Right. So when they making little mistakes like, hey, our quarterbacks don't slide. You know, they put their head down and get the first down. And Shadur's like, you know I'm a drop back passer. I go get your first down, but you can't tell me I can't slide because my value is to stay up and be on the field. Yeah. My value is not to be trying to run over somebody to prove something to y'all that I'm tough. So that's the way he reacts. Secondly, what are you going to do to prepare me for the next level? See, those are the questions that you got to be prepared when you're dealing with somebody who comes from this. Don't tell me what you're going to do and how you want to win a championship. We want to do that. But what are you going to do to prepare me for the next level? Am I going to be in the gun? Am I going to be under center simultaneously of multiple formations? Because, see, I'm going to be in the gun, but then when I get ready to go pro, they're going to criticize me because I'm never up on the center. So Tell me how you're going to prepare me. And a lot of them failed at it. But see, then he got on there, and Willie Taggart and his staff recruited him when Willie was at Florida State. So they continued to recruit him. And when a lot of people fell off, they're on the Zoom call 3 times a week. And see, my son is a football guy. He want to talk football. He's like, Dad, why is this coach telling me how much the locker room costs and how much each locker costs? I don't care about your stuff. I got stuff. I want to know what's the plays, what's the game plan, how you going to develop me? And that's how he got down. And those are the guys who presented him with the best possibilities of his progress. And he wants that ball day one, man. He wants a chance to compete, to have that ball and be up on the center day one. So that's why he made that decision and not following the crowds. And now he's the kind of guy to say, hey, man, last night I look on the Instagram, he said, hey, fellas, I need 5 of y'all that's ready to go make change. I need 5 of y'all that's ready to ride with me. Let's go do this. See, that's how he is. Now he recruiting to put some dogs around him so he could change the game. I told him a story about the Fab Five last night. Then after I tell the story about the Fab Five, I see him put that on. I need 5 of y'all. That's how he thinks, man.
That's so big time because you're telling him the story of the Fab Five, and we know it can happen in football, but it takes a couple more recruiting classes. In basketball, all they need is one Fab Five at HBCU to shake up the world. Yeah. That's all they need, man. So I'm glad that you're planting the seeds in that young man's head. He's going out there taking those jewels that you're giving him. He's giving them to other people. I love the fact that he's his own man, figuring out his own path, man. Now, we're not going to keep you here too much longer, but our last question is normally one that's real fun. It's a fun question.
Everything been fun.
Nah, it's a different type of fun, Brian.
Type of fun.
Come on, Brian.
Our last question is give us your, we'll say, celebrity club moment that you were kind of in awe, or just an interesting story off the field. Like for me, being in DC one night, came out of this spot called Pearl, had a nice friend with me, pull up SUV, hops out in front of me. It's Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson wants my girl. I froze, Prime. I was terrified. Prime, I'm 7 feet tall. I've never been more scared of a man that's 5'9". So that's my story. That's my celebrity story. I met Mike Tyson. I froze in she looked to me for help, and I just kept looking around like she was looking for somebody else. That's my celebrity moment that I think is interesting. Give me yours.
Oh, my God. Usually I'm so great off the cuff.
Man, you done hung with Hammer and everybody. I think you got something.
Yeah. But and listen,
I'm trying to figure out, like, which moment, like, Like, are you talking about the shock of it, or?
This got to be a shock. So, like, look, when I was in Minnesota, one night Prince walked through that bad boy, and the whole club was like, next thing I know, all the ladies was gone. Okay, he walked through. Chauncey Billups told a story about him and KG chilling with Prince, and Prince is down there sitting Indian style. They just talking game.
I would have hugged, man.
It can be anything. Like, I was in the club, LL Cool J walked in. Not lying, Prime. I was getting a phone number. I got 6 digits. LL Cool J walked in. She left before I could get the 7. I was like, come on, man. LJ can't get in. LL Cool J can't get everybody, man. I'm starting for the Wizards. You got to mess with me. So what's going on?
Man, I don't have one today. I remember one time when I was still in college, this agent was trying to secure me, and I was out in LA. Matter of fact, it was Charles Barkley's agent at the time. Me and Charles been tight ever since I was like my freshman year. And I remember going to this party, and man, I was sitting there, and you gotta understand, man, I'm in college, dog. I'm in college, man. I look across the room, I see Barkley. It was back when Magic used to have the basketball game.
Midsummer Night's Dream?
Dog. Everybody and their mama used to be there for that game. You know, it was a real, I don't know if they still do that now in the pros.
The last one, it was LeBron, Carmelo, Wade. That was the last one we had.
It was who's who on these. It was like an NBA All-Star game that Magic had in LA at the Forum. It was, and I'm sitting up there. I remember Magic had on this white outfit, dog, with these red gaiters or red ostrich and a red belt. And I was sitting up there like, boy, these dudes are living their life. This is unbelievable. I'm a shorty, curl, look wet, but it's dry. You know, I'm sitting up there. But that right there changed my life, man. Just seeing what's possible changed my life. Hold
on, Brian. You in the club, and Magic Johnson has on a red suit.
No, white suit. Red belt. Red belt. Yeah, man. I was like, hey, man, and Dominique there. I mean, everybody that was the dogs in the NBA. And I'm over there in the corner, like, one day.
So this was still Deion.
This was Deion as a sophomore. I mean, I'm a sophomore. It's 1986, man. I'm a sophomore at Florida State, but I'm riding because this agent trying to get me. He want to show me the life.
Right.
And I remember looking in that cut, not jealous, not envy whatsoever, just saying one day, man.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah,
Prime, man.
Boy, the boys inspired me.
Well, Prime, man, we appreciate you for coming on with us, man. It was a pleasure. Listen, man, this has been an absolute treat for a young football fan like even though I play basketball, I'm a heavy football fan. So this is a treat for a young fella like myself.
Man, let me tell you something. I watch y'all, man. Y'all know what you're talking about, and you got the credentials to back it up. And y'all go at folks, and y'all make sure y'all bring it. And Ryan, I know you. I've seen you go at them. I know you go at them like no time. But y'all have fun. You're intelligent. You articulate. What y'all bring to the table, man, is unbelievable. Don't stop, man. Don't let it get in your way and stop y'all from doing what you're doing. Because, I mean, just this platform, like right now, we bless somebody. We made somebody smile.
Amen.
Yeah, so y'all keep on doing your thing, man. And whenever you need me or whoever you need to get to in our game, I get you to them.
All right, Prime. All right, Prime. We'll be in harmony with what you just said, Prime. One thing we like to shout out is, what can we support from you? What can people go check out? Because I know you have amazing ministries and help and program. Yeah. Where can we check out you? Check out the boys. Shout them out. Let them know where they can go support, man.
I don't really get down like that. What people could do, man, is be a better version of yourself today, and then tomorrow, and then better the next day. So that's all I'm selling, man. I'm just selling. I want everybody to be happy, smile. I don't want nobody being angry with one another. I want peace and joy, man. That's all I'm selling.
Hey, all right. Well, shoot, man. We appreciate you hanging with us today, man. That's been our time, man. I mean, listen, blown away, man. Listen, thank you, man. I can't thank you enough. And I just say this, Prime. People don't know, man. You know, I'll reach out to people, even former teammates, and you one of the greatest to ever play. And as soon as I hit you, you hit me back and said, "When?" That's a blessing, man. Thank you. Like, it's different.
Respect what y'all do and how y'all get down, man. That ain't nothing but love. I love it.
Definitely.
I love it. And y'all tell us the truth. Y'all don't sugarcoat nothing.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man.
God bless y'all, man.